up on UCF Sports Night, the spring gets into full swing. We preview the men's and women's tennis teams. And we talk with the coaches from both squads about their chances in 2010. All that and more next on UCF Sports Night.
UCF Sports Night is brought to you by UCF TV.
Hey, how's it going, Night fans? And welcome once again to UCF Sports Night. I'm Jeff Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us. And you might not be able to tell by the weather here in Orlando, but the spring has sprung at UCF Athletics. And we've got our first spring sports previews coming up. We're going to look at both of the tennis teams in this edition of UCF Sports Night. But the first action of this week took place not here in Orlando, but up in Oxford, Mississippi, where the men's basketball team faced a tough test in their final non-conference game of the season against number 14, Ole Miss. The Knights headed into Tad Smith Coliseum looking for their second victory over an SEC team this season. A.J. Romsa took the controls for the Knights. He led the team with 16 points to go with 3 boards, 3 assists, and 3 steals. Also, Marcus Jordan came up very big, 4 of 7 from the field, tying his career high with 13 points, along with 3 rebounds and 4 steals. Also, Keith Clanton pitched in. He scored 8 points and grabbed 7 rebounds on the night. UCF's defense forced 18 Rebel turnovers for the evening, but Ole Miss was blistering hot from the field, 64% in the first half, and that was just a little too much for the Knights to overcome. Ole Miss shows why they're number 14 in the nation, 84-56, the final. Friday, the women's basketball team began conference play on the road up in Huntington, West Virginia, but it didn't go the Knights' way. Marshall gets the win 74-60. Marche White continues to have the hot hand as she hit for 17 points on 7 of 13 from the field to go with 5 rebounds and 3 steals. Chelsea Wiley also scored 10. However, the Knights just could not overcome the Herd's 57% clip from the field. Then on Sunday, the Knights' road trip continued at East Carolina, but the Pirates came out on top in this one by 11. Chelsea Wiley lit things up for the Knights, scoring 17 points on 7 of 11 from the floor, including a pair of threes. She also had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Emma Cannon also chipped in with 9 points and 7 boards, but despite a 62% shooting clip in the first half, ECU held on for its 14th win of the season. Back at home on Saturday afternoon, the men's team began conference play with a date against the Rice Owls at the Dungeon, but things did not start smoothly as Rice jumped out to a 19-10 lead in the first half. But that's when Coach Spiro's team went to work. The Knights went on a 23-2 run after that timeout, led by Keith Clanton. The Orlando native put up a career-best performance, hitting for 9 of UCF's points on the big run. Also, R.J. Scott stepped up in the first half, nailing this big 3, and UCF took a 33-24 lead into the break. Second half, more of the same, especially from Clanton, as he finished 7 of 9 from the floor, a career-high 17 points, along with 6 boards and 3 blocks. Also, A.J. Romsa stepped it up with 13 points and 6 assists on the evening. Here he hits one of his 3 trays. And the Knights are 1-0 in conference play as they beat the Rice Owls 77-58.
I think anytime you can get, your first win in the season, it's amazing. Just like the UMass game, we started to build on that, and then stuff kind of went downhill. But I think we know now what we have to do.
And as always, for more news, scores, and features from every UCF sport, all you've got to do is log on to UCFathletics.com, your online home for UCF sports. Don't go away. Coming up next here on UCF Sports Night, we start our spring sport previews with a look at the tennis teams. And we start out with the women's tennis team. High expectations heading into the 2010 season. We'll talk with their head coach, Stephanie Nikitas, when UCF Sports Night returns. Knight fans, it's time to armor up for the 10K Gold Rush. Join the women's basketball team January 17th at 5 p.m. as they try to break their all-time attendance record at UCF Arena. More information at 407 UCF 1000 and at UCFathletics.com. Well, the spring has sprung here at UCF. You might not be able to tell by the weather, but things are underway and we're getting into full swing with tennis in the next couple of weeks. And we're previewing both UCF tennis teams. We're starting off, of course, with the women's tennis team. Head coach Stephanie Nikitas joining us here on UCF Sports Night. Coach, how are you?
All right, great. Thanks, Jeff.
Good. Thanks for having us. Happy New Year to you.
And you too.
Tell me about the expectations that you have coming into this season, 2010.
Well, we've got a young team again. Freshmen, sophomores on the roster with one senior and one junior. So, I'm expecting a really fun season. We have a great schedule. And we're just getting prepared this next week and looking forward to our home tournament. But, expectations are week to week. We have a lot of great matches here at home and I expect some good competition.
Part of that competition, you have two upperclassmen on your roster, one senior, one junior, Katie Orletsky, Jenny Frizzell. What sort of things are you looking to get out of them this season?
Just great leadership qualities. Jenny is a tremendous leader out on the court. She's very vocal and emotional when she plays matches, and she's a tremendous leader in that way. Katie is an extremely hard worker, both on and off the court, so I expect her to lead and just help the young ones along, talking to them about preparing for the season and traveling, missing school, just having a little bit more rigorous schedule.
The three freshmen from last year that are now sophomores, Andrea, Christy, and Alexis, grew up so much last year, and we saw it too. And how much further along are they now that you've had another fall underneath their belt as well?
They are just so much farther along. I'm so excited for them to get into the middle of this season and just get their teeth into it. I think they're all very eager and excited to get back and compete and remember what it was like playing that long season last year. So they have that experience under their belt now. They know how to take care of themselves and mentally prepare for it as well. So I know that they're all really eager and excited to go.
Now this fall we saw a couple of the new faces come out, in particular Jenna Dorfler, Allison Hodges, and we saw Taylor Dubins, of course, towards the end of last season, and she really stepped in and stepped up for you this year in the fall. What sort of things are you looking forward to seeing from them as the new kids on the block here at UCF? Right.
Well, so far Taylor had a great fall. She's improving almost every time she gets out there for practice. So we're really happy with her development. And Jenna and Allison, as true freshmen, have been doing a tremendous job. They had quite a big learning curve in the fall, and I think they're really settled in now, and they're both going to contribute and compete and really play well for us.
We look at the schedule, and you guys have a great one, it looks, at least in terms of us being able to come see you. A bunch of home matches, and you also have all but, I think, 2 of your road matches, is that right? On the road in the state of Florida. So how much of an advantage is that for you, not having to travel all over the country?
Mm-hmm. It's a big advantage, especially having so many home matches where you get used to and comfortable playing on your own home courts and having the same routine all the time. So that's super helpful, and also having some of the teams from up north or out west coming down from the cold in early February and March and getting them to play outdoors. They're not used to the elements and whatnot. So it's great to have that home field advantage.
Tell me real quick about the tournament coming up. I know you got some good teams coming in to open up the season.
Yeah, really excited about that. Florida State, Alabama, and Illinois. We're going to have a great 3 days of matches, singles and doubles every day. Just found out we're getting covered by radiotennis.com, so it's going to be broadcasted all over the world, actually, on the internet. And, we're excited. Just awesome to have these ranked teams coming in for the first weekend.
All right. Head coach Stephanie Nikitas, UCF women's tennis team, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck this spring. We'll see you right down the road.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Don't go away. Coming up next here on UCF Sports Night, we flip it over to the men's side and talk with their head coach, Bobby Cashman. Stick around. We're back in just a moment right here on UCF Sports Night. Night fans, it's time to armor up for the 10K Gold Rush. Join the women's basketball team January 17th at 5 p.m. as they try to break their all-time attendance record at UCF Arena. More information at 407 UCF 1000 and at UCFathletics.com. Welcome back to UCF Sports Night. We're continuing our previews of both tennis teams here at UCF. We had a look at the women's team with Stephanie Nikitas in our previous segment, and now the head coach of the men's team, Bobby Cashman, joins us for the first time this spring here on UCF Sports Night. Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on the show. Coming on last year, you caught a bunch of bad breaks.
Sure.
2 key players going down to injury. You basically didn't have them the whole year. Now, Claudio Romano and Brock Sakey back in the mix for you. It's like Christmas morning for you.
Yeah, it's nice to have a full allotment of players and healthy players. Makes a coach's job much easier, but we're excited for them back, and we're also happy that they're 1 year older and more mature, and I think they miss tennis. Being out and watching all spring is a very difficult task for both young people. They want everything now, so it was good.
You get Claudio back, and he was ranked at one point and he never really played. So how's it having that quality of a guy?
It was good. I mean, he was in the 80s at one point. He had a really good fall, as you know, and then he played a half a match at North Florida. Then we realized he had a lower right disc problem, and he had to sit out the whole semester. And that was tough on him. And then we had Brock, who pulled a muscle in his shoulder, and it was a major muscle, and he couldn't serve. He pulled it against UNF, and it was a major muscle group, and he had to do the same thing. So they both come back with 3 years for Claudio, including this year, and Brock will finish his senior year as a 5th year.
Now, not just Brock being a senior as well, being 5th year, but also you have 2 other guys. You only really lost one guy from last year with Tarek Ben Sultan, so you get Mark Rocafort and Johan Biegert as seniors too. It's good having them on board as well.
Right. Those guys, I mean, they've been together for all those years, so one senior said, "Coach, we're together as seniors, but we haven't played with each other in a couple of years." So it's fun to have everyone out there. And they were making jokes about it, but it's fun to have them through that system, and they're ready to compete and do a good job for us this year.
Blaze Schwartz grew up so much last year in his sophomore year. He comes in as a junior now. How excited are you about his prospects for this season?
He's tremendous because Blaze is a good competitor. He did a great job in the middle for us last year as a sophomore at 15-6, winning a lot of key matches. So one more year you grow, and he's physically better this year than last year. He's put on a little bit of weight, but he's stronger, and he's been in the weight room. So he's really excited to start as well, and obviously he's excited about his ranking with Mark. They start off at 21, so now he was kind of the hunter, and now they're the hunted, as I told them. They're going to have a target on their back as they prepare for the spring season.
And then your 2 freshmen from last year as well, Eugene Dolgovic and Joe DeLinks. You had to put them in there in so many cases, and they learned the hard way last year. Well, how good are they coming into this year?
They're a year older, and I think they're ready to step in when they need to be. And Joe will be in doubles, maybe Eugene, and Eugene will be fighting for one of those lower positions. But a year is a big difference in the growth of an athlete, especially collegiately. And everyone will tell you that. It doesn't matter if it's tennis or football. It's just a year of being around better players and getting stronger and used to the pace of the ball and so forth. But that experience was going to help us through the spring season this year. They're not going to be afraid.
Now, you also got 3 newcomers this year.
Right.
And you're excited about all 3 of them. Tell me about each one of them.
Okay. Mario Sampson is from South Florida. He played for LaSalle High. He was a good player. He played for a 2A school, which is small, but he won the doubles title his junior year. I like him because he's an athlete. He played soccer, and kind of his best tennis is ahead of him, kind of hidden. And then we have Nino Hasendetic, who just arrived from Germany. He's also a good player. He comes with some really good credentials. He was a top junior from Bosnia, but moved to Germany, and he's another good student. He was recruited by some very good schools like Denver and Miami and South Florida, and he decided on us, so he's going to be a good addition in mid-year. And then also we have Matos, who is going to be like a non-scholarship walk-on. He's good as well. His brother played for me at a time, and he's a top 20 local Florida kid who's going to add depth to the lineup, who's a good player.
All right, so it should be a very exciting lineup for you coming into 2010. We're looking forward to it. I know you got a lot of road matches, but they're in the state of Florida and plenty of matches here at home too. So we're looking forward to that as well.
It's going to be great.
All right, Head Coach Bobby Cashman, UCF Men's Tennis. Thanks for coming on board.
Thank you.
All right, stick around. Don't go away. Coming up next year on UCF Sports Night, we got some news and notes, including a look at some of the rankings for the UCF men's doubles team and also our plays of the week. Don't go away. We're back in just a moment. Knight fans, it's time to armor up for the 10K Gold Rush. Join the women's basketball team January 17th at 5 p.m. as they try to break their all-time attendance record at UCF Arena. More information at 407 UCF 1000 and at UCFathletics.com. Welcome back to the show. Our plays of the week are on the way in just a moment, but first, let's get you caught up on some news and notes from the week in UCF athletics. In baseball news, an old face is back in a familiar place, as Brandon Romans has returned to UCF as a volunteer assistant coach. The former catcher from Cocoa, Florida, played 3 seasons for the Knights, hitting .314 with 17 career home runs and 77 runs batted in 131 games. In his senior season, he was voted All-Conference second team and was named to the watch list for the Johnny Bench Award. Romans then played for the Rockford Riverhawks of the Frontier League. He now joins the baseball staff here at UCF alongside another former teammate, current Director of Baseball Operations, Nick Chodo. In men's soccer news, 2 UCF players have just finished up tryouts for the under-21 national team of Puerto Rico. Sophomore Chris Feigenbaum and freshman Eduardo Jimenez spent January 2nd through 10th in Salinas, Puerto Rico, in preparation for the team's run in the Central American and Caribbean Games in July. Feigenbaum played in 10 games in 2009, scoring 1 goal in the home opener against UNF, while Jimenez started 5 of 14 games in just his first season in the black and gold. And 2 doubles pairs from the UCF men's tennis team are ranked in the latest ITA doubles standings. Blaise Schwartz and Mark Rocafort are 21st in the national standings, and sophomores Eugene Dolgovic and Joe DeLinks come in tied for 39th. Both teams went undefeated in fall action. Schwartz and Rocafort went 6-0 and picked up a flight title at the USF Invitational. Their teammates Dolgovic and DeLinks went 3-0 together for the semester. Time for an all-basketball edition of our Sports Night Plays of the Week. Here's Mark Daniels on the call.
They throw it ahead. Robson goes down, throws it up for A.J. Tyler, who dunks it in. E.J. Gainable inbound, gets it to E.J. Robson. Now to Gainer, throws it ahead to Sosa. Isaac throws it down to A.J. Tyler, who will dunk it in. UCF handles it. Sosa, reverse layup. Oh, nice move. Wow, Isaac Sosa with the reverse.
And those are your Sports Night Plays of the Week. The spring gets into full swing in the week ahead. On Wednesday, January 13th, the men's basketball team has another home conference game. They face the Marshall Thundering Herd at UCF Arena at 8 p.m., and you can catch the action live on UCFathletics.com and on 740 The Game. Things really get busy that Friday, January 15th, as the women's basketball team takes on Memphis in their home conference opener. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. at the arena, and you can see it live on UCFathletics.com. Also, track and field starts its indoor season in Lexington, Kentucky this weekend at the Kentucky Invitational. That event goes Friday and Saturday. Also on Saturday, men's basketball is on the road. They face Tulsa out in Oklahoma at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can hear the action on 740 The Game. Meanwhile, back at home, the women's tennis team begins its season with the UCF Quad Tournament at the UCF Tennis Complex over by the Rec Center. The Knights have matches on all 3 days, starting Saturday with doubles in the morning against Illinois and singles in the afternoon against Alabama. On Sunday, the Knights face Florida State in doubles early and then Illinois in singles in the afternoon. And the tournament finishes up with doubles against Bama on Monday morning and singles against FSU in the afternoon. Also on Sunday, the women's basketball team takes on UAB at 5 p.m. in UCF Arena. You can catch that game on UCFathletics.com as well. Wednesday, January 20th, the men's basketball team travels out to Houston to face the Cougars. Tip-off for that game is at 8 p.m. Eastern, and you can hear the action on 740 The Game and on UCFathletics.com. On the air, make sure you tune in for UCF Sports Today with Kirk Spiraw. Join the voice of the Knights, Mark Daniels, and the Knights head coach for insight, analysis, and in-depth features every Tuesday on UCF TV and also on Sun Sports and Bright House Sports Network. Check your local listings. Also on Wednesdays, join Coach Spiraw and Mark Daniels for the Kirk Spiraw Radio Show. Listen as the guys talk UCF hoops live from Smoky Bones in Waterford Lakes every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. If you can't make it to Smoky Bones, you can hear the show live on the Knights flagship station, 740 The Game, and also online at UCFathletics.com. And don't forget, you can catch UCF Sports Night debuting every Tuesday on UCF TV and airing throughout the week. You can also catch the show on Sun Sports and Bright House Sports Network. Check your local listings for details. And for all the latest news, scores, and features from every UCF sport, log on to UCFathletics.com, your 24/7 online home for UCF sports. And of course, if you want to catch this edition of UCF Sports Night again, or you want to see any of our archived editions, you can anytime you want on the World Wide Web. All you've got to do is log on to UCF TV's website, which is at www.ucf.tv. Well, that's going to do it for us for this week here on UCF Sports Night. We'll catch you again next week. For all of us here at UCF Athletics and UCF TV, I'm Jeff Sharon saying thanks for watching and go Knights!
Hey, this is LT from 101.1 WJRR. You're listening to the best sounds of area music. UCF Athletics, Access Magazine, and WJRR are proud to support local artists. You can find more great artists by going online at www.wjrr.com and also accessmag.com. And by listening to Native Noise each and every Sunday at 11 o'clock.
UCF Sports Night is brought to you by UCF TV.